Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to yet again another podcast. I'm joined by two very special guests. The first time on the channel for Dom from the Road End podcast, who's currently absolutely smashing it as of late. I'll let him obviously introduce his channel and make sure you get his all to bloody subscribe if you're not already. You should already be. But fellas, hope you have had a good Easter. And how are we, mate? Dom, we'll start with you, mate. Have you had a good Easter?
Yeah, nice and chilled. To be honest, I'm dreading going back into work tomorrow, but yeah, it's been nice. It's been time that I needed the last few days, to be honest with you. I'm just finishing it off now with a side that I'm going light. So, yeah, thanks for asking.
You're very welcome, mate. And as I said, chat, obviously, we'll get straight. Obviously, you know Dave, but Dave, gotta go Crimbo. Oh, go Crimbo, bloody hell, that was months ago. That was a couple of months ago. There we go.
It's a great Christmas, actually, yeah.
That's the beauty of going live. You can't edit this out anyway. But, Dave, how are we, mate? Are you good?
I'm good, Jackie boy. Yeah, good. And good Easter, if that's what you were meant to ask.
Yeah,
actually, I have a big day tomorrow, Jack. I have a big day tomorrow. I'm 50 tomorrow. Half a century, baby. Tomorrow. So that's a big one. So we'll talk about I'll do a stream tomorrow, a funny stream for that one. Probably get pissed. That'll be different. But great Easter. Looking forward to talking with the Reds. That game yesterday was ridiculous. Obviously, Leeds Monday coming up.
Yeah, just go with the fly.
Crazy stuff. And it's good to see Dom as well. I'll have to get you on my channel as well, Dom. Fair play to you.
Yeah, Dom, obviously, we'll get you to the, obviously, talk about your podcast and everything in a little second, mate, but let's get your general thoughts on, obviously, the game yesterday, really, mate. It was a very Jekyll and Hyde game, but that's really been Liverpool's mantra this season, and it's sadly for us.
Yeah, you've literally just took the words out my mouth. Jekyll and Hyde, that's just what we can say, really, isn't it? First half, I thought defensively it was shambles, which has been the story quite a lot this season. But then, you know, after the second goal and we started getting into the game a little bit more, it was nice to see that they had that fighting spirit, because there's been a lot of questions on that. And I've been one of them that's questioned the fighting and the actual mentality recently. But the second half performance, I don't think anyone can say anything bad about the Reds. We potentially could have won that game as well.
Yeah, it's bloody Trent and
should have won that game.
Yeah,
Canate I don't know. With the belly flop. Canate with a belly flop. What was he doing?
It looks like Canate was doing the worm at the back post. Dave, it's as Dom's alluded to. It was a boss performance, because considering obviously going into this game, Arsenal high flying, they fully deserve to win the league. Obviously, it's still a long way to go, Dave, but it's annoying, really. I think for all of us, obviously off the back of the quadruple chasing Reds last year, and then going into this year, we had, of course, high expectations, really, and the season's played itself out, mate. But what was obviously a positive, really, to come from yesterday's game for you, Dave?
Well, I'll tell you what, yesterday was like the personification of Liverpool's season. I mean, think about it. Unbelievably shit. Defending terrible. No cohesion, no energy, nothing, no confidence. And then all of a sudden, a switch turns on, you know, a bit of fighting between Xhaka and Trent, and the crowd is up for it. They feed off the energy. That was a big point in the game. The goal just before halftime really brings us back into it. As we know, 2-0 is an unusual scoreline to have. I'm sure Arsenal, if they would have went in at 2-0, it would have been a different game, I'm sure. But to get that goal just before halftime, then second half, we just blew them away. We should have won the game. We really should have won that game. I think if Salah scores the penalty, we do win the game, because there's so much time to get that third goal then. And we could have won it in the end. I think Canate was on his holidays jumping into a swimming pool with a big fucking ring around him and hitting it off the ring. Like, you know, any other day that goes in. I don't know what he was doing, but I would have took 2-2 when it was 2-0 down. I was in the pub watching it. It was packed. It was an Easter Sunday. Jesus was resurrected with that header. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But look, 2-2, it's a crazy season, Jack, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about. That game was just throat, elbows into the throat. Fucking, I mean, it's one of those games you can put in a DVD and watch in fucking 10 years' time. Like, remember that game?
I've been going to war with a lot of manx on TikTok anyway, off my video that I done last night. Lovely, of course, quite a couple of fishes in reality when I done that video. So it's that was my entertainment last night. So yeah, Dom, obviously we've seen a role for Trent. Obviously, as all of us have watched Liverpool this season, obviously from his youth age. Obviously, Trent playing in midfield down that right-hand side. And obviously, when he come in, obviously off the back of a Nathaniel Klein injury, and he's never looked back, in all honesty, mate. But did yesterday for you, did we see potential? Klopp alluded to it in terms of the 6 role for Trent down in that middle of the pitch. Potentially, could it long term? It's been a question that a lot of fans have asked potentially of Jurgen from a tactical sense. But what's your general thoughts on obviously Trent's positioning?
Well, positioning wise, I don't think much has changed in terms of the season, because all season he tends to find himself in that position. Yeah. It's just a case of we were performing well in the second half when we were using him to what we needed to use him. By having no one filling in for him, that's the issue. So you've got to play to your strengths, and our strengths for me are our fullbacks. Trent always finds himself inside, has that 6 to 8 role, if you want to call it, and finds that killer ball that no one else can find in the team, and that's the reality of the situation. So you have to play to your strengths. You have to play your best players, and for me, going forward, without him, we lack creativity throughout the pitch. So you've got to find a way in for the team. He'll always find himself inside. I personally don't want to see him further up. I just want to see us defend better, and I want to see a number 6 and a number 8 that can fill in for him, like we did when we were so successful. So the blame, yes, defensively he's not great, but also as a team we haven't been. So I want to cut him some slack on that as well.
Yeah, definitely, miss. Obviously, we get to everyone's comments. If you are new, everyone, make sure you do head over to Dave and Dom's social links. Everything is in the description. Mods, if you're in here, please do drop the lads, obviously, or the link tree for Dom on all of his socials is in the description as well. So if you're a fan of Spotify, obviously, I'll get to Dom's, obviously, get following him anyway, because he's got so many great. I was listening last night, obviously, the Ryan Babel interview, obviously talking about Howard Webb and everything, and it was great insight as always. But we'll get to everyone's comments before we do, obviously, go into the Leeds game. But big up Ambience. How's everyone going, lads? Not too bad, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Just rewatching the game versus Arsenal again, and some real positive signs in the second half. Amazing playing. Yeah, there is positives on this season, of course. All the Reds are going to be down and disappointed, but we've got Jurgen Klopp at the helm. But one of the best managers in the whole of Europe, and we will be back again. We're not a long way off. We're only a couple of midfielders short, in my honest opinion. And we'll be flying high next season, in all honesty. But big up Shay. Trent needs to fight every game to get him going. Yeah, it's the majority of that, Dave, as well, mate, isn't it? Like this, but it's, as I said, it does me head in. It was the Gini and Alden. People used to slate Gini. People, when Liverpool are playing bad, there needs to be a catalyst, really. They need to point fingers, but that's the world we currently do live in all honesty, mate. It's disappointing, but
look, Jack, the rebuild's coming. We can do a million podcasts in the summer about rebuilds and transfer windows. The rebuild's coming. It'll take more than one window. Yeah,
definitely, miss. Obviously, Dom, going into the Leeds game, mate. Bear with 1 second there, mate. In terms of when we do analyse and we have a little look at Leeds United from off the back of this season, in terms of the first. Obviously, Liverpool's first defeat at home this season, which was very strange. Dom, what do you remember of this game, in all honesty, mate? It was coincided with probably similar with the Fulham game. It was a bit of everything and things in between, really. But it was, what did Liverpool, for you, first and foremost, going into this game? Because it's going to be so difficult. We laugh and joke about it as Liverpool fans. We played well against the big boys, but Leeds have got a lot to fight for, similar with the teams that we're going to be coming up against in this season. I think the teams down there this season, especially this season, they've got so much to play for, and that's probably a recipe for disaster, in all honesty. Worst case scenario for the Reds. So,
yeah, but let's be honest, I'd say we've got Kanate coming back into that 11, and that already smells positivity for me.
Yeah.
Bobby won't be playing, and sad to say, but impact player till the end of the season, which is good.
Yeah.
And then you've obviously got Gakpo coming into Bobby's role. So I think it's quite different in terms of how we started the season, but the performances have been very similar. We can't afford that to happen on Monday at Ellen Road, because that is an absolute fucking cauldron.
Yeah.
So if we don't turn up there, we get rolled. It's as simple as that. And the problem we've got is I don't know what team is going to turn up. So we seen two sides of us yesterday against Arsenal. We seen how we've been all season, and then we seen what we're capable of. So it all depends on what team turns up. But you know, I'm confident. I seen their result against Palace, and yeah, okay. No one should be getting beat 5-1 by Palace, especially at home. So we have to turn up there confident of 3 points, and I think we just need to end the season well, regardless of where we finish. We just need to keep adding points to the table, basically.
Yeah, that's Dom's spot on there, David. In terms of that's what we're all trying to do, try and be as positive as we possibly can, because we're seeing good performance by Lord, Alisson. We love him to bits. Salah as well. These players have done so much over the last 3-4 year period, 5-year period, or whatnot. And they've made us so proud, and they will continue to make us so proud, especially going into next season. It's just about trying to systematical slight tweaks anyway. But did you watch any of that game? Dom, they were shocking against Palace.
I just seen the goals, Jack. Just seen the goals. As Dom said, I don't know what Liverpool team's going to turn up. But as I said to you, Jack, before, this is you can tweet this one. Liverpool at home are Champions League level. Away from home, they're Championship level. And that's the problem. If you go to Leeds, Ellen Road on a Monday night, and now Leeds, that, as Dom said, similar to Anfield, it's an old school stadium. It's fucking be rocking and rolling. They're fighting to stay up. You will not want to give them anything. And they'll be knowing Liverpool are coming low on confidence away from home. They'll be ready to rock and roll. We will want to bring our A game to get a win there. Anything other than an A game, we're not getting a win there. And the draw is no use, really. And we have Diaz as well, maybe in the fold as well. That'd be a bonus, probably on the bench. Thiago's coming back as well, and Kanate. So we've players coming back that weren't there when they beat us. They're the only team to beat us at home, by the way. Leeds at Anfield in the league this season, which was a strange, not memorable game. So I don't remember anything about that game other than the goal in the last few minutes. But I mean, as Dom said, we got to play well. We got to turn up. Got to be confident. Cut out these silly, stupid early goal mistakes. For God's sake, it's a cliche. Just early goals. Liverpool let in all the time.
What you put that down to, mates? Like, I think all of us have watched this Liverpool team. Is it just a lack of concentration, or like?
What do I put it down to? Just fucking silliness. Absolute, I mean, let's be real. You can't keep doing it. If you keep doing the same mistake again, it's just silly, isn't it? I mean, you tell an under 12s, under 11s teams, stop letting in early goals. They keep doing it. There'd be extra training for them. And call them silly and stop bloody doing it. So I'm sure Klopp's pulling the hair out of his beard nearly at this stage to fucking see what the story is. But I don't know. It has to be a mental thing. It has to be a psychological thing. It has to be psychological. It has to be psychological,
Dom, you mentioned it before, and I think that's what all Reds need to do in terms of building the strong foundations. We've seen that off the back of previous seasons under Jurgen Klopp, obviously, when we very first qualified for the Champions League on the last game of the season, with the Gini Wijnaldum goal at Anfield. It's about, you alluded to, it's about, for me, building those strong building blocks that you can look to next season. The off-the-field business speaks for itself. It deals with itself. But in terms of strong and being consistent, most importantly for me, Dom, going into this Leeds game come the weekend, it's just, especially at the back, like we've seen the inconsistent levels really. But I think a couple of weeks ago we had 3-4 clean sheets, and it really benefited us. But I think for me, most importantly, is about building a strong foundation going into next season, mate, off the back of this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I couldn't agree more, to be honest. We desperately need points on the table, not just for this season, but also for next, because, I think, personally, top four is gone. I do think that. And
I'd agree, yeah.
You've just got to be realistic about this now. Yeah. As much as I'm a Liverpool fan and we can dream and all these things. But for me, we need European football, and people might say, I'd rather none at all. And Dave, you might think different for this, but I just like seeing us compete for everything. So I don't want to see us compete once a week. It's not how we should be playing.
You don't want to sit in that fucking conference league. You'll never hear the end of it. If you go
wait there. When I said Europe, I didn't mean that piece of shit.
That's a fucking possibility. I think you finished seventh. If you finish seventh Conference League, fifth and sixth Europa League.
I'm pretty sure.
The conference is a tattoo job. You know, like if you get a fucking tattoo, like that's you'll never hear the end of it from United.
Is the Europa League in Ireland, Dave? Is it
Dublin final?
Dublin, yeah. That'd be good. Bloody hell! Imagine if we got all the way there. That'd be.
I can see us getting fifth, sixth at least. It's just one of them. And we need to find consistency. We need points on the table. Forget the position. Let's just see where we end up. But let's just make sure we don't go down without a fight. And I think after the second half performance, it's still there. And it does need to be shown on a consistent basis. And yeah, he will be pulling his hair out because we all are as fans. So imagine being the gaffer. It'd be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, there's been a couple of boots thrown, that's for sure. Anyway, there was how many emergency meetings can you have in a season? But it seems like there's been an emergency meeting every single week. Boys, going in, obviously, I know we've got a couple of days and there might be potential injuries, really. But Dave, it's off the back of obviously the game against Arsenal, we're seeing Darwin Núñez coming off the bench, having a kind of an impact as well. Jota seems to be getting thrust upon the starting 11 a lot more, obviously back off the back of the injury. I think Jürgen is trying to get him into some rhythm, as we just alluded to with the back line as well. But obviously, what would your starting 11 be going into obviously the Leeds game, Dave? Would you make any?
Good week to the Leeds game, so he's going to have a full week to train them and get them ready to rock and roll. And obviously, Diaz comes he won't start, obviously, but even to have Diaz on the bench, the Colombian prince, it'd be fucking lovely, wouldn't it? Just to have him there, it gives you that little bit of extra. So, starting 11, I'd start Núñez, Hakpo, and Salah. I think Jota is actually better as an impact sub, especially last 25, 20. I just rad from coming on. He just gives you something different. He's biting at your ankles. He's like the real old school striker. I'd have those three up front, as I said. Midfield, I think Jones played very well yesterday. I think Jones deserves another game. Yeah. I think he was good second half, especially. He did okay. He really needs to, doesn't he? I mean, for him we're going to be getting a few midfielders in the summer, so Jones has in the last few games really has to get those boots dirty, baby. You know what I mean? For the next few games.
He'll run through a brick wall, Dave, and Don Money in terms that he understands it. And
I think he's going to have to run through a brick wall to stay in contention, to be in Liverpool next season, considering we're going to do a revamp of the midfield. I mean, Hendo was good. See, there's a week now, so it's not as if they're tired. We know other competitions. You could play the same midfield if you wanted. Fabinho, Hendo, and Jones again. Or you could bring Elliott in. I don't know what he'll do. I think Kanate, Van Dijk, Trent, Robbo, Alisson. I don't think you're going to do much there, yeah? It's only whether he keeps the midfield three for me. And I think Núñez comes in for Jota. I think that'll be the only changes. But anything can happen midweek. We know. Yeah. I mean, Naby Keita in his injury could injure somebody. You know what I mean?
Naby gets injured going up the stairs.
He's up his crutch.
Don, would you concur with Dave? Would you like to see any potential players coming in and being given an opportunity? I think Thiago elevates Liverpool's game so much when we have him on the pitch. I
think the defense is what I expect. Alisson, Trent, Robbo, Kanate, Virgil. But then I think for me, I would definitely like to see the experience come in against Leeds away. I think Jones might get overwhelmed with the occasion, if I'm being honest, because regardless of Leeds' position and regardless of who plays for them, they'll be up for this game at home. Liverpool Monday night.
Vanilli is all team?
No, not yet. No, I'd go Fab, Henderson, and Thiago. I'd like to see Thiago get on the ball and make things tick, go forward, hold it up. Naturally, with his experience, slow the game down at times as well, just to quieten the crowd up. And I'd definitely like to see Núñez come in. I don't know why he's been on the bench. I didn't really understand that, to be honest with you, because I thought he could have brought Jota off the previous week, but he never. He kept him on. And maybe he's just trying to get him to get that goal. I don't know. Yeah. But right now we can't afford passengers, and I'd like to see Núñez, Gakpo, and Salah, and let's just fucking go there and get the points.
That's it, lad. Hopefully that is the case, mate. And big up chat. You're bloody smashing it as well. And I said, please, mods, do drop all the lads' links in the socials. They are in the description.
So, I think I missed a few super chats there, Jack.
Yeah, absolute bloody legends. We'll get to Doug's. Happy 50th for tomorrow, Dave. From
Not till tomorrow. I'm still 49.
There we go.
I'm still 49.
Dave, it's your birthday every day, everyone. So it's all good. You milk it out. That's what you're doing. It's your birthday.
Oh, baby.
For our team now, it was my man in a match yesterday. Him and Virgil van Dijk could be long term. Yeah, Dom, thoughts on Kanate? I think he's an absolute bloody beast, and he's the way in which Liverpool want to play with the high line, of course, and everything. But we seen 7 months ago in that Champions League final, he's like a men against boys in reality. He dealt with the occasion so well, and hence why Liverpool have gone and signed him for big bucks.
Yeah, he's the next, God knows how many years for the club, isn't he? So he's probably one of your most important players to be in that side, if I'm being completely honest, because Virgil's been, let's be honest about the situation. He's been poor for his standards. More than anything, is for his standards, he's been poor. And whether that's down to his recovery, whether that's down to too many minutes, whatever it's down to, he hasn't been good enough. And I think Kanate he's sort of, how do you say it? He's made up for what we need, because I think Matip looks like he's a bit of on the arse end of his career, maybe. I could be wrong. And Gomez, I just don't think he's personally good enough. He's versatile. I'd keep him for that, but I don't think he's a starter. But yeah, Kanate's a beast, isn't he? Let's be honest. You run it in, mate. You're going to go the opposite way, aren't you?
Yeah.
He's a bouncer on a Saturday night in the nightclub where you're just saying you're not getting in. Okay, I'll try next week.
I think with him as well, though, we had against Vinicius. If you never had Kanate on that game, it'd be even worse. So yeah, he's for someone so young, he looks so experienced, and that tackle he done, I think Gary's just mentioned in chat there, the tackle he done on Xhaka, that was worth the entry fee alone.
I put it in the Louvre. I did a Twitter thing and I put it in the Louvre.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. Spot on. We'll get to everyone's comments as well. Big up, Russ. Russ, obviously, a massive Arsenal fan. Obviously, was that 2 points dropped for you or point gains? I think we, off the back of that, Liverpool, obviously, as the lads have already alluded to, could have won that, but it's no hard feat coming to Anfield. We've only conceded, prior to yesterday's game, 9 goals, I think it was. So, as Dave's alluded to, Champions League form at home, Conference League football, away from home anyway. But big up there, Niall. You never walk alone, bro. Appreciate your support, as always. Nigel, absolute legend. Really do appreciate it, mate. Hope you had a good Easter. Most importantly, mate, and every single one of you. FSG need to spend enough. Oh, bloody hell. Gary, we'll get a couple of midfielders in first, mate. Yeah, we'll start from there.
But, Gary, stop.
Yeah, Gary, we got Darwin Núñez in. You were happy with that anyway, so there we go. Even in all scouts, wouldn't mind seeing Curtis give a proper run, 100%, mate. There we go. Nigel's comment. We've turned the corner, in my opinion, onwards and upwards. That's the positivity we need, Nigel, 100%, mate. Big up Jay as well. Big up Jack. Hope you're well, sir. Not too bad, mate. Obviously, us and West Ham, I'll tell you what, we're having a car crash of a season. Both clubs anyway. Moyes in, Jay, I don't know, but that's another show for another. But yeah, defo, mate. We'll sort that out, matey. But John, obviously, I wanted to touch on obviously your great podcast as always. I've enjoyed them. Obviously, have you got any more big guests on the horizon? Really, just obviously plug all the socials for me, mate, if you can.
To be honest with you, the guests sort of come out of the blue sometimes, so it's a case of let's see what goes on. But I have like 2 or 3 weeks, and pre-recorded, let's say, and then I do add some clips in about the games if necessary. But yeah, the podcast's going really well. It's we're in the second season now, 11 or 12 episodes into the second season, and it's getting bigger and better every week, which I'm proud to say. It started off as something that I needed to do just for my own mental health more than anything. It weren't for anything other than that. I was having troubles basically mentally, and I needed something to focus on. The best thing I can talk about is Liverpool, other than my family. So 2 and 2, that's just how I started it. So Yeah, it's going really well. It's difficult. It is difficult to motivate yourself sometimes when you're having shit days and you're thinking, especially after bad results as well. You're thinking, I want to get to know the guests, but then I also think I'd rather talk about you than that shit show we've just watched.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's nice to have a different variety of people as well. I don't just get footballers. Let's say I've had ex-footballers, coaches. I've got one of the old Liverpool physios on shortly. There's a different variety every week.
Yeah, as you can see there, it's what would you say was obviously your highlight? Not to pick favourites, but is there a moment that you go in terms of the great guests? The list is endless, chat. You'll get lost in the back catalogue of amazing content. Is there a moment that you pinpoint really for you, or a couple of moments that really stand out for you as a form of inspiration, really?
Yes. So obviously you can get the main people such as Ryan Babel and stuff, which was obviously amazing because he was part of that season when I'm mid-teenager that I supported and loved seeing him in a Liverpool shirt, things like that. But there's also the side of things that people don't know about of these players. So obviously they're not all footballers, so let's just make sure everyone knows that. But the footballers who have told their stories, from the likes of Adam Morgan, he's probably one I'd use as an example of why I do this. He talked about how his career went from the top to the bottom within months, and his mental health spiraled out of control. He's gone from being potentially the next star to now playing Sunday League football, which is just, you can't even think about it. So yeah, I'd say that more for me, selfishly, I like the stories behind where people are now and how they got to this point, more than he played for Liverpool in the Champions League type of thing. So yeah, like I said, it's different every week, but it's always based on Liverpool, but it just depends on the story of the person.
Yeah, no, you're doing an absolutely amazing job, mate, and I'm looking forward to the new podcast. So, chat, please do head over. The links are in the description. You probably know who Dom is anyway, but if you don't know, you know who he is, and get listening to all of his podcasts because it's absolutely amazing, mate, and keep it up. And as I said, a massive form of inspiration. Your presenting skills are fantastic as well. Not just saying that because you're here, but I'm trying to learn my best off you as well, because that's the thing, mate, and that's why I done my channel as well. Liverpool, all of us, Dave, for everyone, it's a church. It's our church. It's our thing we look forward to as fans up and down the world, supporting the Reds. It unites everyone. I'm going to be hopefully seeing Dave at the weekend as well, and it's so special, Liverpool Football Club, Dave. Like to all of us, really. But it's so special, isn't it, mate?
Well, look, I'm doing this, nearly 5 years. You're 5 years doing it, Jack, and you were doing it just before me, and that's how I met you doing this. Yeah. I like doing the interviews like Dom as well. I've had a few people on, obviously, and I like just talking about football. I like talking full stop. Never mind about football. I talk for fucking Ireland at this stage, but I mean, I just like the interaction, and especially through COVID and stuff, Dom, I'm sure you were the same, mental health and stuff like that. Just kept me going. This actually kept me going, Jack. You were on loads of times, and the amount of people we meet, Mick Moran's in there from the Cup Eye podcast is in the chat, Doug, Niall from the upper tier, they're all in the chat there, all the actual chat, the same names keep coming in, Nigel, all the time. It's great support. It really is great support. You know what I mean? Like, we're Liverpool fans deep down. That's what we are. I mean, I have a day job. You know, I have a child, a day job. Dom, I'm sure you're similar. Jackie boy, this is a hobby for me, and that's probably all it ever will be. If I meet someone or get to interview a big name, that's great. It's nice, you know. But it's a hobby. Look for Liverpool. I've followed Liverpool since the 80s. You know, giving the age away now, but follow them since the 80s. And, you know, it's just, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be in the pub fucking chatting someone's ear off about it anyway. So, you know what I mean? So, it's brilliant. As you say, it's cliche, but Liverpool's a family, basically. It's a worldwide family now, even more than it ever was. But I just love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Dom, obviously, in terms of the podcast game, is there a couple of guests that are on your bucket list? Jurgen Klopp's on mine, but I don't think the club would let me.
Sorry, I have before you, Jack.
Yeah, I'd probably ask, where's the midfielders? They'd be like, no, you can't. The press officer would be like, you can't be asking them that. But is there any, obviously, guests or obviously non-footballing people, or obviously anyone in the game of sport or outside of sport that you'd like potentially to put on a future podcast?
There's no one I like aspire to getting on because it's always the usual names such as Gerrard and things like that who won't do podcasts. I've been told that by him, so I can't really go up my way to say him. I just like anyone basically to do with Liverpool. So if it's someone that supports them, or it's someone that does like a t-shirt company for them, or it's someone that is basically a friend of a player's or something, I'm not bothered. I just like getting to know the person because I feel like that's what gets across to people more. So yes, there's big goals, there's big ambitions of the likes of Stevie G, but again, I'd probably chasing my tail with that one. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about the players from the 80s and the 90s when I was born early 90s, but there's something about that era that I love hearing about because that was before footballers were, let's say, athletes. Yeah. So the stories that they've got from their nights out or from their holidays or the pre-seasons and that's what I'm about. So as many of them as I can, really.
Yeah, no, our good mate Daz, obviously, all the way in. You might know him, Dom. Yeah. And obviously we know him, but he's got a lot of them. It's amazing. It's mad how football has revolutionised, and lads. It's gone are the days where you'd see a footballer now and you could have a bevy with him in the pub in town or whatnot in the 70s and 80s. That Russia had come off the back of scoring a hat-trick against the Ev and then have about 10 pints down the local in Crosby or whatnot. But
do you know what it is, Jack, as well? Obviously, you need a connection to get someone on. Daz O'Connor does from Liverpool Connection podcast in Texas, but you also need a bit of a bit of trust and stuff like that. You know, you're not going to take the fucking piss out of them and stuff like that when they're on live. I've had John Octoberg on, Liverpool's goalkeeping coach, and he's sound as a pound, but it took a while to get him on because he was probably checking who's this bollocks from Dublin. You know what I mean? He works for the club, so you could say the wrong thing because it was live at the time, it wasn't pre-recorded. So you just have to be careful. I think it is. I think it's a lot to do with trust and stuff like that. They check your background out, like the FBI. You know what I mean? Yeah. But love it, and Dom, I'm sure you will. You keep going the way you are with the type of people you're bringing on. You will, because someone will know somebody type of thing and say, he's grand. You know that type of way.
You will get Gerrard on eventually, mate. I know you will. Definitely. Score predictions, lads. I don't know if he's a fan of score predictions. And Dom, if you watch my channel, half the time I've got 99%, especially in the World Cup, Christ. I do a little score prediction on the side of the stream on the overlay, and half the time I've started jinxing.
You can let me dog in. That's right at the back door there. Hold on.
There we go. Dom, obviously a score prediction for the Leeds game, mate.
Do I have to?
All right, if you don't want to jinx it,
no, I'm going to have to go with 3 points regardless of the score. I'm going to go 3-1, 3-0.
3-0, yeah. I was very fortunate. Touch wood, everyone. We got a good record against Leeds. I think it was last season when I was at that game and
6-0.
Yeah, I know we're poor at defending this season, but they seem to obviously be out of ball and all that. And obviously with the Spanish coach that they've got currently, it's going to be so messy down there in terms of down there. But I'd agree, mate. Dom, I'd go with a 3-0. I'm going to go, Dave.
I take 1-0 right now.
Yeah, 1-0. Take a 1-0.
Away from home. Let's be realistic, lads. Come on. It's not Anfield. They beat us at Anfield. I know it was a bit lucky. It was a crazy game, but I take 1-0 all night long. As Lionel Richie says, all night long, baby. 1-0.
Definitely. Oh. Big up there, mate. Big up there, mate. Big up there, Mick. Hope you're well, mate. You've had a good Easter. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Let's get to rattle through all these comments and then we'll round off chat. With the extension being completed in the summer, Anfield will be bigger and louder. That's on top of the new players and fresh start. I can't wait for next season. Yeah, there's a lot of positives, really. Especially if we did bring in a player of the caliber of Jude Bellingham. I'll tell you what, that is a marquee signing.
There's your interview now, Dom. Jude Bellingham.
There we go.
That'd be nice. With Gerrard sitting beside him with the microphone.
Dom, I think all of us, Dom, as you said, there we've got our fingers crossed. What would a signing like Jude do for you, just as a fan, mate? I think for all of us, it would bring, for the negativity that we've had in certain areas this season, Dom, it would, for me, a player of that quality and that ilk would very much boost the whole club in every department for me.
I think not only for us, But I think Liverpool signed Jude Bellingham and sends shockwaves throughout Europe, never mind the Premier League. What it does to the other clubs is think, shit, these are serious and these are going to be back, because he is a player that can take you to the next level. He's so young, but he's so level-headed. He's so experienced when you watch him. And he's just a standout. Every time I watch him, I think, what a player. So not only does it boost you on the pitch, it does globally, but it also, I think Liverpool will make a lot of money from him signing, as much as he will cost a lot of money as well, because there'll be kids, there'll be adults, there'll be fucking merchandise with Bellingham everywhere you see. Yeah. He's got that, I hate to say it, but he's got that X factor about him where everything about him is just what you want, and it's what we need. And it's probably, and this is a massive statement, and I have said it a couple of times, but I don't really care. He is as close to Steven Gerrard as I've seen since he retired. So, and I don't like saying that, because Gerrard is my absolute hero, always has been. Probably the best player I've ever seen in a Liverpool shirt, minus the couple of season wonders. But what he will do to us, he'll just give us a massive lift, and he'll give us that hope and optimism for not only next season, but years to come. You build a team around a player like Jude Bellingham, you've got a brilliant side, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure, mate. Definitely. We'll get to all these comments as well before we do rounds off, but I really do appreciate it. Obviously, the lads on the panel and every single one is tuning in, everyone. But obviously, I get the lads to shout out all the socials at the end of it. Make sure you do head over, subscribe, follow all the lads' content as always. Taking the time out this evening to jump on, much appreciated, boys. But big up there, Nigel as well, absolute legend. How are we doing? My 3 kids are on the way home. Oh, yeah. But there we go. Those are young. I should really read these comments before I bring them up, shouldn't I? We are Liverpool. This means more. We are family. Big up there, Tom Izzy. Absolute legend, mate. Obviously, we've got a good Easter. But yeah, big up there, chat at Nigel. Nigel's going with a 4-0 to the Reds. Dave, what did you go with? Did you go over 1-0? 1-0
all day long. All day, all night long.
Gary's bloody hell, Gary. Gary loves an 8-0. If he knew round there, chat, Gary loves a big win.
Does he mean it? Oh, he means 8-0 Liverpool. I was going to say because the 8 was at home, it was Leeds 8-0.
Yeah. Obviously, Dom, please do obviously a massive thank you for coming on tonight, mate. Obviously, just please do shout out where everyone can find you and all, obviously, your social channels, please, matey.
Yeah, so it's literally, you've got the Road End Pod comment on your overlay. It's at the Road End Pod on Twitter, Instagram. I've got a link tree, what's got all sorts of different things. But yeah, on them socials, you'll find the links to the Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, and YouTube for clips, and TikTok. But I don't tend to use TikTok and YouTube as much because I'm not quite savvy on that yet. But the Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Music is the main thing. You'll see clips all over social media from every podcast episode as well. So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome, mate. Dave, as I said, a massive thank you for coming on as well. Got any plans? Obviously, your birthday tomorrow. Are you then to be too bladdered to come on and do?
Well, I'll tell you, President Joe Biden's flying in for my birthday party tomorrow. He's coming into Ireland tomorrow.
Just for you, lads.
So he'd be blowing out the cakes. He'd be blowing out the candles on the cake. But no, look, I'm just gonna I took tomorrow off. My job make a big bleeding deal of it with cakes and balloons. I don't want to fucking know about it. I said I'm going to help my little girl. Go to the shop, buy something in the Liverpool store, do something like that. Go easy. 50, half a century, baby. Let's hope I'm here for another half a century and still doing podcasts. Imagine that now. That would be good. But Dave's LFC Chats, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, as usual. Jackie Boy, absolute legend. Dom, fair play. I'll have to get you on my channel for a chat sometime, bro.
Of course, mate.
Yeah, big up there. Fuck goal as well. Everyone's welcome as well. But gentlemen, a massive thank you for taking the time out this evening. Hopefully, Reds, it's a massive 3 points against Leeds, and as already discussed, hopefully it's the building blocks of a strong foundation going into next year. And I know the lads are do us proud. I know we've gone through a difficult season this year, but there's bigger things on the horizon for most definitely. But gents, thank you again. Everyone in the comments, being that many bloody obvious tonight, I really do appreciate the support as always. If anyone's watching on the repeat as well, please do head over to Dom's socials and obviously Dave's social links as well. The links are in the description and will be in the comment section below. But for now, Reds, you never walk alone. And yeah, up the Reds, up the mighty Reds. We'll be back. See you later, everyone.
Cheers.